I suppose, like, leading on to the next question I wanted to ask you, and that I suppose kind of leads to having that slump and getting picked up on energy. Like something I've noticed recently, especially up in the gym with teenagers coming in training, that they're all drinking these supersized energy drinks. So, and
Yeah,
I know after speaking to a few of them, like they drink them every day,
yeah,
and maybe even 3 or 4 cans of them a day.
yeah.
Like,
It's I think the whole energy drink thing is getting a little bit out of control. They're very easy to access.
yeah,
Um, I was in a gym probably about 10, 12 months ago, maybe a year ago, and a guy had a can of like this name brand energy drink.
yeah,
It's become almost the norm to see
yeah,
guys in the gym drink it, but what wasn't was he had a sachet of a pre-workout. So I look over and he chucks the can into a shaker cup, in goes the pre-workout, shakes it up and drinks the whole thing. And I was just like, I actually couldn't like complete my workout because I found myself constantly staring at this guy
yeah,
thinking, when's his heart going to give out?
yeah,
Like when is this going to be like just you've just taken in too much caffeine.
yeah,
Uh, there should be no need for kids to have it.
yeah,
The reason I think part of the reason kids are becoming hooked on these energy drinks is, for one, their diet isn't great, so they're not having food that sustains their energy because their energy is slumping up and down. They're not sleeping very well, so they're not getting restorative sleep. So they're waking up feeling tired. So they're waking up feeling tired. They usually have a breakfast that would be very high in the glycemic index. So it might be sugary cereal.
yeah,
Their blood sugar levels shoot up through the roof. They come down just as fast as they go up, and they're almost riding this like roller coaster where they're just up and down all day long on
yeah,
a sugar fix. So they almost feel like they need these energy drinks to just do the workout because they don't have energy to do it.
yeah,
Um, for me, it's just as simple as they're not paying enough attention to their
yeah,
diet. They're using caffeine as a fix to get through the day,
yeah.
and at a young age, there really isn't the need.
What's I suppose for any teenagers watching this and that are kind of drinking a lot of the energy drinks, what's the long term effects you think from drinking those?
Well, every energy drink, any fizzy drink usually it's got phosphoric acid inside of it. It's not good for your bone density. I was at a health talk, I'd say about 9 years ago. There was a doctor over from England. Her name is Dr. Glenville, and this was very much when I was coming off the stint of my own kind of like lifestyle change. But she was checking people's bone densities on the day.
Yeah,
It was like a women's health roadshow, but the company I was working for kind of was hosting her. So during intermission, I went up and I was just chatting to the girls who were running the bone density section, and I said, "Is there any chance I could get one?" Now, I was young, somewhere between the 18 and 20 bracket, and I thought, do it for a bit of crack. I'm not going to have any issues here. So I sat down. You put your foot into this machine, and the balloon swells up on your ankle,
yeah,
and it tests the density of your hip and the bone. And she comes out the print, and she goes, "Oh yeah, you've osteopenia." And I was like, "What? How?" Like I'm young.
yeah,
These are issues that people are usually faced with in later life. People who are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and more so women, develop
yeah,
osteoporosis and osteopenia. And the lady was like, "Okay, well, started naming her a couple of things, and all the contributing factors that she was naming out were stuff that I done on a daily basis on the lead up to my own health change, which was drinking fizzy drinks, certain foods. So where I was, on top of my weight gain, I
yeah,
also had like really poor bone density. Um, so like those fizzy drinks are a contributing factor. The phosphoric acid strips calcium from the bone, was what I was informed on the day. So it can be quite shocking. It's not just diseases and illnesses that you'll pick up in later life. A lot of them you can get when you're very young. So there's that. The artificial sweeteners they use, and a lot of them aren't good. Aspartame is a very common one. A lot of artificial sweeteners can cause dysbiosis of the gut bacteria, which is it basically upsets the balance in your gut. So a lot of people who feel they have digestive issues, they may have food intolerances. Sometimes it is just as simple as you're actually consuming too much artificial sweetener, and it's just throwing everything out of whack. So like out of the hundreds of potential kind of issues that it could arise, bone density and gut health are two that can come from drinking those energy drinks, you know.
Oh.
Potentially, not everyone is going to be affected by it.
Yeah.
I obviously was just susceptible, and I know I'm not the only one either, but it is a reality that you can pick up illnesses quite young if you're over consuming those drinks. But like on top of that, we're very much faced with nutrient deficient diets. So if you have a diet that's void of nutrients because you're eating too much processed food, something as simple as getting calcium into the body could be an issue. But then if you pick a teenager who doesn't eat calcium dense foods but are over consuming fizzy drinks and artificially sweetened drinks, you're taking in something that depletes calcium from the bone, but you're also not following that up with taking in good levels of calcium from your diet. So what happens? It's just going to strip from the
Something
bone.
has to give, yeah.
Something
Eventually,
has
yeah.
to give. If you're
Yeah.
not taking it in and you've got something deteriorating what you have, something's
Only
got to
so
go.
long before, yeah.
Exactly. So we don't consider, oh, just grab a can of cola here or grab a can of orange. You think, sure, look, it's just one can. But if you're doing that every day, or some people, I've had clients who might have had 6 or 8 cans of like fizzy drink a day. It's what's going to happen if you do this for the next 5 years or the
Yeah.
next 10 years. Chances are you're going to cause a deficiency illness, so it's just not good.
So it can be potentially serious then.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I mean, I was only young and I was faced with, you now have osteopenia.
Yeah.
I don't anymore. Like through my dietary changes and supplementation and exercise, I was able to rectify that. But I caught it when I was young. I mean, some people don't realize it until they're just that little bit older.
Yeah.
That doctor actually on the day had a statistic that by 2030, there was going to be a rise in people in their late 20s, early 30s developing full-blown osteoporosis because
Oh, you're right.
diet's lacking in nutrients with a diet high in specific factors that take those nutrients out of the body. Again, something's just got to go,
Yeah.
you know?
I suppose like the simple solution is what you were saying at the start. Just create those new habits slowly over time, add in more whole foods.
Yeah.
And
it's super important for kids. I mean, if you have a child that may be a fussy eater, which is quite common now, whose diet could be lacking in minerals, they may not be necessarily taking in the nutrients that they need for their actual bone growth and development, which they're going to be doing for years and years until their late teenage years. But they may also have, a diet again that's just high in the nutrients that's just going to knock it on the head. So it's very important, I think, to start it from a young age, to give your kids, the nutrients that they need so that they can grow to be healthy, to avoid sickness, to avoid deficiency diseases, so that they can, I suppose, be the healthiest and the fittest that they can be. They have potentially very long, time to live.
Yeah.
They don't want to be living in illness for their whole life. You want your kids to be living in a situation where they feel good every day when they wake up. And I think, exercise, nutrition, mindfulness, being able to talk about your feelings. For me, nutrition isn't just eating good food. It's a total combination of what way is your mental state, how physically well and able is your body, how good is your energy, are you feeding yourself the micronutrients that you need to function, long term. It's a total picture. It's not just any one thing, I think.
Yeah. Cool. That's incredible. There's lots of great tips and stuff there for everybody watching, really. I suppose just to kind of finish off, do you want to just share a little bit about what you do as a nutritionist and what you do and how you work with people?
Yeah, so I'm based out of, I'm pointing as if you see it
can
over
see
the road,
it.
out of Glamire in Rye Fitness. I suppose more of what I actually end up doing now with clients is I run like 8-week lifestyle protocols. So I take clients on board and every week we basically learn something about nutrition and about the human body. And every week I give the clients 1 or 2 small things to leave with, to go home with, to try out for that week. And it could be something as simple as, right, this week, a little bit more protein, a little bit more water. They go away and they do it for a week. Next week they'll come back, I'll give another 2 tips. They'll go away and do it for the week. So like at the end of an 8-week period, I'll have potentially cemented 16 to 20 kind of habit changes in any new client that starts, but it's all done over an 8-week process where it's small incremental changes rather than just overload with everything at one time. I also teach them about like how their actual system functions. So we go through endocrine health, digestive health, bone density, rather than just say, here, eat more steak, or here, eat more vegetables. We go through what I suppose those nutrients will do for which specific system in your body. I find people are more inclined to take action if they fully understand the picture of why they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so that's generally what I try to do, is focus on the education side of things, is teaching people why they should be doing this, what part of the body is going to benefit from it. When that part of the body benefits, what are they going to see and what are they going to feel from it, and almost like paint a picture for them of, okay, you're going to do this because this will look after this and this will make you feel like this. Paint a picture, show how good, or like inform them of how good they're going to feel after they do this consistently. I find that's where I kind of get most clients to commit.
Yeah.
I think there's a big void in education around nutrition and fitness. I mean, Steve will probably be able to share more of it, but nutrition isn't really taught in school. I know you get like food duds kind of every so often inside school, and they have a little bit of PE, but I don't think it's anywhere near enough to what like kids actually need growing up. I mean, I'm not too sure, but I think isn't PE like 2 half-hour sessions a week or something like that. Like 2 half hours is nothing. I mean, it's a good base to start from, don't get me wrong, and if you had no exercise prior, I mean, it can be very beneficial. But for us to be truly healthy and fit, I don't think 2 half-hours a week really cuts it. And the same with nutrition, like having, you know, people come into schools and give kids a portion of carrots and maybe some apple slices. It's great, they're eating it there and then, but, you know, when you're gone, are they continuing these things?
Yeah, they're not creating any habits or anything like that.
No, they're not. And like outside of school, are they doing more than that 30 minutes of exercise that they get maybe twice a week?
Exactly.
Most kids I know, they're not. You know, so I don't think there's enough there for kids. I don't think there's enough support. I don't think there's enough knowledge out there. Granted, nowadays they have the internet that they could go and do a little bit of self kind of research, but we all know from hopping on Google, it'll just, you know, give you whatever opinion you want backed up. It's not always factual. So I do think there should be more support from people who are experts in the field to be able to bring it to kids and teenagers.
Yeah, excellent. But what we'll do anyway, there'll be a link directly to Dave's website. So if you do feel you need help with your nutrition or like that, you can get directly in touch with him. But yeah, I suppose we'll just wrap it up there. So thank you very much
No worries,
for
thanks
coming
for
on
having me,
and
and I
sharing
hope
all.
you guys were able to pull something out of that.